Welcome back to the first episode of No Wait, Hear Me Out on our new channel. We're talking about Attack on Titan. I have never seen it before, but you have, right, Nick?
I've seen it like 4 times now. Oh my god, that first season is so hard to watch that many times. You're lucky I like you.
Well, I like you too. Hopefully. Maybe not after this. I have not seen Attack on Titan ever.
Well, now you have.
Now I have. I've seen the first season. I guess.
Wouldn't be much to talk about if you
technical. Didn't. I'm just here to talk about nothing for 2 hours or whatever this ends up being. So when it came out in 2013 or whenever, I had a couple of friends that were like, dude, fucking watch this new show called Attack on Titan. Watch one episode, and I was like, I don't get it, and I didn't watch the rest of it. But even more now, it has become like a cultural like phenomenon of like, holy shit, this new season is crazy. So we're kind of playing catch up and doing like a retrospective on it for anyone who's already watched, because it's all ending and stuff. So I figured it'd be like kind of nice to do that.
For reference, I'm already pretty much caught up. I'm about halfway through season 4. So
yeah, I remember. By the way, what?
That's just nothing.
Oh, okay. I remember in 2013, like, people walking around with like Attack on Titan jackets, because like this was like my high school's version of like what My Hero Academia did in like 2017 or something like that, where it's like that was like it was a big boom for like anime, right? Where it was just like people were really into it. It was super dark and like gripping. And as someone who had seen like anime before that, I guess that's what wasn't as interesting to me, because gonna be honest, with this first season, it's kind of a lot of nothing.
Yeah, I have a fun story about the people wearing the outfits. I was working at a Tivana in high school at the time, and 2 people came in Survey Corps jackets, like the whole attire except for like the directional gear, but they just wore the jackets. It was interesting to see at a mall.
I forgot it was in a mall that you worked at.
Yeah, especially because I was selling tea.
For some reason, I thought it was like in downtown, and like that someone just came in like Attack on Titan cosplay downtown. I was like, I mean, that makes sense, but like, what? Why would that happen? But whatever. It's really weird, because it's like that was also some of my first exposure to like people in public, like being super public about anime, because for people who are new, a decade ago, it was not super popular to be out about like anime stuff. And I feel like Attack on Titan helped a lot with that. More so My Hero Academia and Crunchyroll and whatever, but just Attack on Titan is like a pretty big cornerstone show. That's actually, plus Nick recommending it 6 times or whatever, is like when I finally decided to like rewatch it, and just like, maybe 9th grade me just didn't get it.
I recommend it. It's the first season's rough. It can be like, for some people they absolutely love it. I personally didn't, but as you get onto the later stuff, season 3 in particular is where it started picking up for me. That's a lot of episodes to get through, so it's really hard to recommend something like that to someone. But I like the final season. It's a blast. It's a ton of fun. So I can't wait for us to get to there, but we also have to go through all the other seasons first, so...
Yeah. Another thing is, I might know a lot of the spoilers only from this season, because they got memed to death, and it's old at this point. Because during that big, like, first season Attack on Titan boom, people would share it around, and it was very much like a watch weekly show at the time, and I just got, culturally exposed to a lot of it, so... A lot of the things that people were interested in and had that initial like reveal factor, I did not. So if like, keep that in mind when we're talking about this. It's not that I hate it or anything. It's just a lot of it was like, oh wow, Aaron's a Titan. Oh, okay, I knew that going in.
A lot of the enjoyability of the show is in that you don't know what's going to happen next. So when you do what's going to happen next, that's what I mean when I say it's hard to rewatch this so many times, because it's a lot of the twists are a big part of the show, and so when you already know them, you are missing out on a lot of the big like emotional investment, or just investment in general.
It reminds me a lot of like Hollywood stuff, where it's like very much a one-time or maybe two-time watch of like, here's the action, here's like the crazy, twist, here's, oh, do they die, whatever. And it's like the tension of like, will they, won't they die is like such a big thing in this show too. And knowing like the main three characters, both because plot armor, but also because people still talk about them, it's like, nothing's bad is gonna happen to them. So a lot of that was ruined for me. But I'd say overall this series, season 1 was like 6 or a 7. Like, it was all right. Looks phenomenal though, for sure. Like, the art, especially in season 1, is something that's like very iconic. Like that dark line stuff, a lot of like the CGI they incorporate for 2013 blows my mind. I don't know.
Say it looks better now than it will later.
Oh no!
I don't know if you've heard about that, but some people were fuming. I think they got death threats for season 4.
Oh, come on! Like, I mean, I don't not expect it from Twitter, but also fucking, it's like they're just animating the show, guys.
I think it was because of COVID. Like, it was the start of COVID, and so like we were still trying to efficiently get work done, and so I don't blame them. It happened. It'd be nice if they touched it for Blu-ray, but I'm not gonna be bothered if they don't, personally.
I don't mind CGI for the most part. Like, I'm bothered when it feels very lazy and like slapped on, but I'm not offended at the existence of CGI.
How it felt in season 4 a little bit, but it was more of a time constraint than a lazy thing. Is what I would believe.
I never assume employees are lazy. It's always management stuff and like deadlines, for sure.
Yeah, and also the studios that they hired, these aren't lazy studios. These are like well-known ones, so it's definitely not a laziness. I think it was all a matter of circumstance.
I also, like, I hate the word lazy because animators are working hard constantly. Like, that's the only reason you're in animation is like passion, right? Like 99.99% of the time.
Yeah.
Or you're just good at it and you're suffering for whatever reason. But, basically, it's all like overhead management. So when I'm saying easy, I don't mean, or lazy. I don't know why I said easy. Lazy. It's not like people are lazy. It's like how corporations push out certain things lazily, air quote. I feel like that's an important distinction to make, because a lot of people will use that word really like carefree, and I don't mean it like as a, calling people lazy like some people do.
Yeah.
But yeah, it season 1 CGI really good. 2013, it's kind of mind-blowing. They use it for buildings and stuff like 99.99% of the time, but looks really solid, and that's one of those things that like...
Did they use horses? I don't remember.
I feel like a lot of the time, okay, the wide shots, they use it for horses, but it's like
when they animate it, saw it from the horse's torso up. Just so
from the horse's torso up, so it's just it'll bob up and down.
I mean, that's probably the best way to do it.
Except for this one shot where they fucking launch a horse like into the air. This like Titan.
Just you wait.
Oh, I'm so excited. Let's talk a little bit more about the actual show. Kind of start going into it. I kind of want to touch up on like the main 3 characters each season, because they're like, it seems like each of them are specialized for this in their own little way. Like, Aaron is obviously, he's Titan. That's his thing, is he just has that connection.
He's Mr. Attack On.
That's so stupid. I hate you.
Please, Titan was my father.
Call me Attack On. Sorry, it's so dumb. Mikasa specializes in like being good at, I'm just gonna ignore that, killing Titans. That's like her thing. She's just really good at like athletics. And then Armin is diplomatic, but also he's like a really whiny bitch this first season, and I hate him. But
he's also pretty smart. Over that. Like he's
smart.
Pretty much the schemer for them. Not schemer, but he's
kind of like brains, brawn, and magic powers. Yeah.
The Holy Trinity.
God's special one, I guess I'll put it. But I kind of want to start out just talking about Aaron.
Aaron?
Aaron?
Sorry.
It's a dumb German meme. Don't worry about it. Eren, I don't find him all that interesting right now. As a character,
he's so one note.
His motivation is killing Titans. He doesn't really grow other than learning how to harness his Titan powers, which I feel like is more outside of his character than with his character.
He grows mechanically and not characteristically. Whereas he gets new powers and comes to understand them rather than understanding or growing himself. Which I guess at the beginning of a story you do kind of have to establish these powers, but maybe not this verbosely.
Yeah. I mean, he does change a little as a person too, and like becomes a little less hot-headed, I feel like, but then he goes back to it like later in the season. It's not like there's hints of like development for sure, but his baseline season 1 appearance I don't really care for all that much.
I think there's moments where it shows that he is reasonable, and you can, like, when the cards are laid down, you can talk him out of things. It's just gonna be a bitch to do it.
Yeah. He definitely very emotion driven, very much like Titans push me out of my home, I'm gonna fucking kill all of them. Titans die, and then he finds out, like, he turns into a Titan. He's like, oh, I can kill these as a Titan. That's my power. That's cool. And then he, that's just all he thinks about is like, how am I going to kill more Titans and like fix everything? Very generic hero, I guess, is my problem with it, or just not that interesting right now, right?
Yeah.
Not much to say about him.
Yeah, me either.
Same with Mikasa for me. I like her the best out of the three. But she's just kind of also, she just says Eren as every other one of her lines, as like
everything she does. It's like the failure of the Bechdel test, but it's the Eren test instead, where it's if a woman, I think it's if two women are talking in a scene, if they can't talk
mention
about
men.
anything except men, or if they don't mention men, they pass the Bechdel test. So, but I guess this is just with Eren.
Yeah.
Just like she can't have her own agency. Everything is central around Eren.
There is a reason for it, like with him saving her life and all that, but at the same time, it's like
she doesn't
even
feel
though
like
close
her own
family
character.
Mm-hmm.
She feels like a bodyguard. Like she is an extension of where it's like she's an extension of Eren to some degree, where she doesn't have her own agency. She doesn't want to do anything that's not related to Eren.
I imagine we'll see her like grow later and become her own person. But also with everything going on in this first season of like, information, they kind of had to keep her in the back line as just a strong like character, but also, she's tied to Eren for now, at least motivation wise. Cause it's just like, we have to grow Eren first and more so Titans as like a thing.
Yeah, we have to establish our world almost. Our world and the primary actor. I'd say my other problem with her is that she doesn't really have any flaws.
I mean, I'd argue that she is obsessed with Eren to a fault, and that is her problem.
Yeah.
But
I can agree with that.
Yeah. She does feel kind of unstoppable as a killing force, but I feel like she isn't, people, I guess a Mary Sue is what do they call it, just she's not invincible. She has flaws, at least to me.
Yeah, if someone wanted to, they could probably goad her into doing something because Eren.
Yeah. But I mean, okay, so near the end of the last few episodes, it was like every single, and if you don't believe us, just go back and watch it. It's like she would go, like, it'd cut to Eren doing something, and then it'd cut to Mikasa for 3 seconds. She'd go, Eren! And it'd cut back to Eren. Again.
I kind of wish that they almost drew on her being obsessive more. Mm-hmm. Where it's like, whoa, that is like an unhealthy degree. Because that could have been really interesting. Because it's kind of what she does, but no one really acknowledges it.
That's the thing. It's not really commented on.
Yeah.
She looks fucking awesome killing Titans, though.
Yeah, she does like, the spin.
The spectacle stuff? Great.
Like Levi does the spin, too. I like the spin.
The spin good. I like spinning. She does spectacle really well. A lot of the cool moments from the show involve her, and I respect her for that. Only other thing is like her grown-up design. It's very minor, but I don't like how she just is like full set of makeup and like, perfect hair and whatever, whereas like all the other like guys are kind of ragged looking. She's just like, she looks like a model like walking next to Aaron. It's just like it's not a big deal, make your characters look pretty and whatever, but it just, hers is enough to an extent that it's kind of jarring, especially because she's like 14, and it's like, make her look a little bit more like a kid. Stoic, but whatever.
That's just the anime dilemma.
Yeah, I mean,
it's still valid. I'm not trying to invalidate you, but
I don't care about it, and like even with other female characters, it's not to that extent. It's just particularly in this one show with Mikasa, it's really weird. Like it's also off-putting to me.
It's weird as time goes on, and like they're supposed to be like aging. They don't change until like the last season where there's a big time gap. So they're supposed to be like progressively growing, and it's just not showing. They just look the same for the first 3 seasons.
One thing I really liked about Full Metal Alchemist, I don't know if you noticed this, but it's very gradual. Like, especially Edward's design changes as he ages.
Yeah.
And I didn't really notice in the show, but looking back at like screenshots from different parts of Brotherhood, he really does age very gradually. But it's like, it's a really good, like, small detail thing that, even though it only takes place over the course of a couple of years.
Yeah, it's attention to detail. Kids
from like
grow fast.
13 to 19. Yeah.
Teenagers grow fast.
And I don't even mind them, like, not changing. Because, I mean, we only watched season 1 so far. It's kind of like Mikasa's base starting point is just, like, 25-year-old woman with perfect makeup and whatever, right? It's really weird to me. And not, because people will be like, oh, SJW, whatever. No, seriously, it's bothering. It's not like a political agenda, me not liking this, but it's just.
Yeah, I get it. You're a snowflake.
Exactly. Like a snowflake. Did it ever snow in Attack on Titan?
I don't think it has yet. I thought
not in real life
here because we just got some snow.
We got snow in March as we were recording this, so we're snowed in right now. It is the most bizarre thing.
I think the what you mentioned is, I think that's where it's like we see people getting mad almost at things like, what was it, for Horizon Forbidden West, where it's like she doesn't look pretty, so people are getting mad. But that's just like the most absurd corners of like Twitter.
Yeah, because I wanted to clarify. I feel like I really have to quantify everything. I've been like detoxing from the internet, but it's still like part of me where I'm like, I'm not like one of those people that complains about the main character from Horizon Forbidden West having like very small amounts of facial hair like a woman does normally. It's just, it's off-putting that she's that pretty, Mikasa. It's just a minor thing. We've been talking about this for too long, but yeah. Armin. Got anything to say about him?
He doesn't.
Because I don't.
He doesn't do a whole lot. I mean, I like that he's just terrified. And, well, I mean, everyone except for, like, Eren and Mikasa, they get, like, scared. But Armin loses his mind. And
I really like Armin in concept.
Yes. His execution is he kind of just sniffles up and he's like, Eren. Also, just screams Eren.
I even like his earlier appearances. I will say that. I like his first appearance, like in his first major battle with like, Eren sacrificing himself for Armin, which we'll get to later. But he just, it feels like he kind of like, I like how he grows emotionally, and he's like the smart one, but he's not super physically good at stuff. But it also feels like he doesn't do enough.
He feels like his primary function for this season was as a tool for other people to do things around and grow. And even then he was kind of underutilized. Whereas like he theorized some stuff and like thought up some plan stuff, but no one was ever like, holy shit, good job, Armin. And he never had like one of those, damn, Armin did it moments.
He kind of has it with like the very end of the season, recognizing who the female Titan is, but also that gets brushed
felt
over quickly.
underplayed. Yeah, he doesn't get like the holy shit it was Armin.
Yeah.
Like no, not the entire group like clapping on the back like holy shit you did it, bud. It was just like
and then everyone
Armin,
on the Titan train clapped.
Trust me, if you were there, you would have clapped too.
With Armin, it's like I enjoy him, but I also wish he did more and was a little bit different from what he is. The biggest problem, I think, is that they're introducing 50 characters, starting out, which is important to flesh out the world and everything, but the early characterization does suffer from this. I think my opinions will change with season 2.
I think a problem that this season had is they wanted to introduce people to like fake you out and like get attached to certain characters and then they die.
Oh yeah,
instead of actually establishing their initial cast and like doubling down on that, they're just like
Petra and Gunther and whoever.
Like,
yeah,
who's safe?
Yeah, it's like because it reminded me. I think that's what it is. The Walking Dead, or something like that. Game of Thrones. Yeah,
Game of Thrones is like the go-to for that kind of stuff.
Game of Thrones effect of just here's a billion characters. You don't know who the main characters are, even though it's kind of clear in this one. But it's like anyone could die, get attached to all these people, and then whoa, the tensions are super high. And at its time, I bet it was very captivating, but it's aged kind of not super well since because this would have been like right around when Game of Thrones like came out, right? 2013.
I think Game of Thrones was 2012. Let me check.
But like roughly same time, where it's like that was a novel thing, was just being dark and killing a lot of people.
The first season was 2011.
Yeah.
So this Game of Thrones was established and it was becoming a phenomenon.
And not like, they influenced each other, but just saying that like The Walking Dead, Game of Thrones, it's like all around the same time they kind of became, the storytelling style of killing a bunch of people that were written to be killed, but in a way that makes you think they'll live for longer. It's like a very will they, won't they survival situation that like narratively I think would have been interesting, a decade ago, but we've seen it kind of age through time, not super well.
Yeah.
Anything else about Armin, or just kind of...
Not a whole lot to say about him.
In general, for these main three, I hope we get more, honestly, which we will. We got 4 seasons, but I hope we really delve into them more than we have.
I will guarantee you one thing: we'll get more Aaron.
Yeah, we'll get more of Mr. Attack On. I think because it mostly focused on Aaron this season, but it was like I still didn't like what they did with him because it was more focused on his powers and like that kind of coming of age, which feels, at least to me, very not interesting. Because I've just seen so many shows that do that kind of thing of like learning how to use a power, right?
Yeah, my problem with a lot of shonen anime, I'd say my least favorite shonen anime are ones that spend more time developing powers and interesting power struggles rather than interesting characters. I would rather see 2 interesting ideals clash than like a cool fight with like powers that they have to work around.
Mm-hmm.
That's me personally.
I enjoy that stuff a little bit more in video games personally, where I'm like, it's me doing it and like strategy and all that. Unless it's like super interesting. I think the big thing for me in high school was Code Geass around this time, which is older, but it's like that idea of like, mental strategy or whatever, even if it was like just action bullshit, like that felt like a mind games show more to me than like a lot of shonen stuff does for whatever reason.
Yeah. And even then Code Geass was very Deus Ex Machina kind of bullshit.
Oh yeah.
But it still, there were times where you felt like he earned the outplay, but then there were other times he pushed a button and blew something up because he had mind hacked someone 2 months ago.
Code Geass used to be my favorite show in high school, but yeah, it was very much like bullshit for some of it, but I did enjoy like that is the extent of mind game stuff that I enjoyed growing up. So you want to talk about like arcs now? with
Yeah, first
all that.
we had what it was the training arc where baby boy wham wham my mom died eaten by a titan I want to kill them grr. That's how it happened, right?
You pretty much the first episode, I feel like part of it is like I don't find Titans all that intimidating by design.
They're goofy.
Some of them
goofy as
really
hell.
scary, but like base Titans, they're fucking goofy.
I remember saying that I thought it would have been really cool if they did the whole, like they didn't have an outer layer of skin things, that they were just like muscular tissue. I think that could have really sold the surrealism that they were going for better, but that's just a small like.
They probably did that because like it's really hard to draw, you know,
Yeah,
every
like
single
muscle structures like that.
yeah,
and
on everything, every single frame.
tendons and fibers and ligaments.
The first couple episodes, I feel like we don't have a name for this arc. It's just the intro arc.
Just the training arc.
It's to like, you know, introduce you to the characters and like give you motivations real quick, get you immersed in the world, basically just showing how the first wall fell, and I think it does a good job. First episode is iconic, but I don't know. I mean, it didn't do it for me when I first watched it. Did a little bit more for me this time. But it's supposed to put like the fear of God in you, right?
It almost feels like they could have combined episodes 1 and 2, where by the end of episode 1 they'd like decided to join the military. Because it feels like they established what each of these characters were about pretty early, and then things just kind of kept happening. I guess try and establish the world.
A lot of this show, I feel like, is a lot of just establishing, and things happen, but I feel like the first two were fine. Like, not by
definitely a lot better than
lowest point.
9 episodes of Strauss.
Fucking 9 episodes of Strauss, dude.
Holy shit, Strauss. We don't talk about Strauss. We will talk about Strauss.
We will talk about Strauss. We ain't talking about it now.
Back in my day in Strauss. All right, go ahead.
That was like it was our own war trial. Like outside of the show, was watching the Battle of Trust.
Supplies are running low. Aaron is still carrying the rock.
Please, I need more G Fuel to make it through this. Will Aaron carry the rock to the door? Fuck. He's not carrying the rock fast enough. Oh no. Training arc. Getting back on topic.
Yeah, so what, Armin's granddad goes and dies, and then
we talked about like
escape.
Their backstories a little bit with the characters, but yeah. They get in the military.
Babies, wah. We established their characteristics. Big boy, yeah, Colossal Titan. He just puts his foot in the door.
Colossal Titan
makes the door.
Iconic. That shot, yes. 10 out of 10 moment.
Very good.
Love that scene so much. Even when I first watched the episode. So good.
It was a good one.
Literally trailer moment, but not in a cheesy way. Like literally, oh shit, this thing is 200 feet tall.
Yeah.
How do I beat this thing?
We also get a second one on episode 4. As the day of graduation, it just appears again in an incredibly similar moment, and it's just as iconic.
Oh yeah, where he runs through a wall.
No, that's the Armored Titan. That's in episode 2.
I do love him. Which Titan are you talking about?
Colossal.
Oh, let me see him again in episode 4?
Yeah, after they graduate, he's like, we can do it. We're going to retake the wall, and then they kick in the second wall, and then that becomes the Battle of Trust.
Yeah, my favorite thing, just because it's really good, like, you know, narrative stake building, is the Colossal Titan just does all this with, like, his pinky toe. Like, he doesn't even try. That's a scary thing.
He's big.
He's just big. And he just kicks down the wall, and he's like, my job here is done. He just kind of goes away.
He just waves bye-bye, and he's just gone.
Turns into mist or whatever. And I mean, we learn later in the season how he just pops out of nowhere, but before that, like before we learn about Titan transformation, it's just like, oh shit, he's just here.
Yeah,
like,
see,
where did he come from?
Those are the mysteries that make Attack on Titan interesting. Like, who is the female Titan? Oh boy, it sure looks like Annie. I wonder who it could be.
It's Petra. She melded with the dirt that when she got smashed in and became the female Titan. Anyways, yeah, training arc. I almost, because this is the thing that made me kind of upset, because I really liked what they were doing with Eren, where they're making it like this dichotomy of like, I can't do this and I'm bad at it, but I really want to do it, like killing Titans, but he just can't. Because I don't know if you remember with like the training gear stuff, where Mikasa is just naturally good at it. Yeah, it just turns out like his gear's broken. Where it's like it could have been this cool like learning thing where he just he
could have had a flaw
to get better.
Where it's just like he was bad at it, and we could have learned his Well, I guess we did learn his perseverance, but
it still was like
an epic gamer the whole time.
They also like did the thing where it was like, not only are you not bad, you balanced on a broken gear, which makes you even stronger than normal. Where it's like, what? Like that just ruins like. I was so excited to see him like train for a couple episodes and like become like competent
and earn it almost.
Earn his fight, because it was like cool to contrast with like Mikasa, who by all comparison isn't as passionate about killing Titans and just she wants to serve her country and whatever, but she's kind of just there as like, we're all in the military, we'll protect each other, and then she just kicks ass at everything. It's awesome.
It's weird. After season 1, I can't tell if Mikasa cares about Armin. Is she just meant for Eren?
I mean, it feels like in this season she doesn't care about Armin all that much either, apart
Does
from like,
oh,
Armin, you're here.
Him much? Like, I don't remember them talking much.
I feel like in the early half she did.
How much time do they spend together? And they barely have conversations. Like, Eren has to be there. They're like, or they're talking about Eren. It's the Bechdel test again.
They're like two people who aren't friends with each other, but have the mutual friend at the party. And once he leaves to go get punched, so they just kind of stand there silently, waiting for him to come back.
Like if Eren gets up and like goes to get some more food, do they just sit there awkwardly?
Just like, hold on guys, I'm gonna go get us like some chips from the beverage stand machine. Yeah, and they just stand there and look at each other like, oh,
they make eye contact for a split second, then like look down and start eating their food, and then Eren comes back and he's like, hey, why is it so quiet?
And they're like, oh, thank God, Eren, you're back. I love you. He's like the glue that holds them together, where it's just two friends that don't talk to each other. Oh, yeah. A lot of it, and it's not at all the fault of the story, because it's such an ambitious, like, here's 50 billion characters. But at the same time,
they want to go really wide really fast. Instead of, like, going deep in certain places, they just, like, spread the net.
Remember when Sasha existed in this arc and then kind of didn't afterwards? Potato Girl.
Oh yeah, she was like the comedic relief, and they're like, all right, it's time to be sad and dark. Bye bye, Sasha.
We have to be
Which
serious.
is like 90% of the show.
And it's like they were kind of building up characters here, like in training, so that way we could see them die and feel bad. But like the best ones, they just don't kill off because they know they actually have good characters. So
they tested to see which one works. Oh, it didn't work. Bye bye.
It's whatever. Some of like the okay characters died, but
like Connie.
It's still, yeah. Wait, no, Connie still lived.
No, he lived. I like him. That's what I was saying.
Mm-hmm. I meant like some of like the better characters. Like very few of the better characters died, but like there were some that I was like, oh yeah, those are kind of cool. Don't remember any of their names, but.
I sure threw 50 at you. You didn't.
That's kind of the training arc purpose, isn't it? Right, where it's just it throws a billion characters at you, so you kind of care about them. Where it's just like gives you time to get acquainted. I thought it was going to be used to like illustrate, everyone's potential, but just the three main characters all get in the top 10 of like. Yeah. I think they all do.
Yeah, they do. There's just no worry that they won't. Or that they
Armin,
don't
I think, is like number 10. I thought he wasn't going to make it, but
he was very studious.
Yeah. That's a thing. Also, the drill instructor, he like spells out all of their like character traits of like, these are your strengths. Eren is persistent. Mikasa is strong and good at stuff. She's just good.
I think she's number 1.
Armin reads books in his spare time. That's not common around these times.
You're allowed to bully him.
And I do like kind of the setup, but this is where we kind of start getting into the like, we just talk to fill time kind of stuff of the show, is in the late arc of like the training and just here, keep up. Feels like this show is kind of designed to be week to week, right?
Yeah.
At least at this point. I've heard later episodes are way more dense, but that's kind of all I have to say about the training arc, personally.
Yeah, because then they graduate, and then the Colossal Titan comes in, and the second inner wall is breached at Tross.
Oh, we also do get to see Annie, but, like, whatever. Annie's there, we meet her, that's it. She matters, but... And I enjoyed her character somewhat.
She spars with Eren.
And there's an important moment. I do really like this. How it comes up later is, like, her sparring technique is, like, a giveaway later on when she's a Titan.
Unique.
Yeah. Which is, like, she uses a lot of kicks. But that's, like, the one really good moment from this arc. A lot of it just kind of feels like things they could have done better. Because I remember watching this and just being like, how did people watch this show? And I think it literally was the first couple episodes of like putting the fear of God and like what they do with like The Walking Dead, where like the first season was really good and then like the first 6 episodes or whatever, people just get hooked, right?
Yeah.
That's basically what I have to say about that. Next is Battle for Trost, right?
Good old Trost. How many episodes you got
many
to spare?
years. 9.
I'll take them all.
This is agonizing. Mostly because I already knew that Eren was going to turn into a Titan and that the 3 main characters wouldn't die, and they had like fake out deaths multiple times for all of them.
It's like 9 episodes of screaming at your screen, just pick up the fucking rock.
I don't have much to say about this arc other than it was way too long for what it was.
I like some of the moments.
Yeah. Okay, I agree with that.
Especially things that happened in the office in the resupply area. That was really cool. I really liked that when we're stuck inside the building. Especially when they got in the box and had to do that plan to like shoot their eyes out.
I don't remember... Oh, I thought you meant... Okay, yeah, I remember that moment. That was really cool.
Well, it's also when they first fly in, they're like, we're out of gas. We need to go to resupply. They should have come to us, but something's going wrong. And what went wrong is that they were just terrified. And, like, that's a really cool dilemma. And I really like the conversation. You know, it's the, while you were stuck here, scared, like, we were dying. And so those were really good moments, really earned moments, too. I think those were the best parts of the arc.
I liked... how all those like kind of side characters got a moment with like the shooting in their eyes, where it's like learning how to be courageous in war. To flesh, it didn't really individually flesh them out, but I felt like it built them up as like, here's your first real encounter with like a billion Titans. You have to be smart and that kind of thing.
It did help flesh out like Jean a lot, because Jean actually had been getting some interesting character development up until now, where he was kind of like, you know, an asshole, a bully even, and he's slowly turning into a better person.
I forgot about Jean in the training arc.
Yeah, he was just
he matters more here because he's kind of just an ass in the early episodes.
He wanted that Mikasa ass.
Oh, he did. He was flirting with her. I forgot. And that just didn't go anywhere.
Nowhere.
I mean, I guess that's going back on her design. That's kind of why they did her like that. But, like, also, you know...
But, like, that doesn't happen again. It just doesn't... Jean is just like, hot damn, shawty.
Hey, you a hot piece of ass.
Hey, Toots.
Wanna hang out with me at the...
I like your hair.
Hang out with me in the Survey Corps. What's the one with the king? Where you stay safe.
Military.
You're a little pussy.
Police.
Okay. Military police. Yeah. That's
What
his whole
else
motivation.
happens?
That part is way better about him in this arc.
He does lead too. I think he helps.
Oh, that's right.
Who was it that helps rouse them? I think Mikasa says.
I thought it was Armin.
Mikasa does. No, Armin is losing his fucking mind, and Mikasa gives a speech and just jumps away, and then Jean is the first one to follow, and he's like, you call yourselves men or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And so Jean actually helps and leads them following Mikasa.
What's happening with Eren and Armin's squad, though, not at all interesting.
I mean, I think on first watch it could be like, if you don't know, you can turn into a Titan. It's a lot more interesting where it's like, holy shit, either
in plot armor,
Eren or Armin are going to die here. Like, oh, maybe that's at stake. I mean, it didn't feel like either of them were gonna die. But
yeah, because it was like every other character that was not important, they were just like, oh, they died in 2 seconds. But Armin, it was like he's sitting in the mouth for like a whole episode. What are you gonna do, Eren? And then, Eren dies, but he's the title character, so it's like he obviously didn't die.
He turns into the Titan.
Yeah.
Then he goes and saves Mikasa because she runs out of gas. All gas, no brakes.
And then no gas.
And then no gas, all brakes.
You're stopped. Because it feels like season 1, again, it's like you can only really describe it as like, wow, things are happening, but a lot of the why is not at all interesting.
Yeah.
Especially with like Battle for Trust, it's like it just keeps going. Where it's like the tension is just will they, won't they die. There's not any like, what is the mystery behind any of this? It's just,
I wish they
Titans.
took out the part where Eren can't control being a Titan, because that just felt like padding.
I enjoy it as like a conceptual, like he has trouble controlling it a little bit, but
this had already dragged on for so long.
Not in terms of berserking. Yeah. I think the problem mostly is like the middle part where it's like you have 3 episodes of trial where it's like, do we kill Eren for being a traitor? I liked that conceptually, but it went on for way too long. And then like there's a whole episode discussing of how to get the, Trost wall, whatever, back. Right?
That's after, isn't it?
It's still in Trost, is the getting that wall back with like putting the rock in it.
That's episode 14, is Eren is brought before a military tribunal.
Oh, not the trial, like the one where like they point the cannon Abraham Lincoln? Yeah. I don't know his name. You know what I'm talking about, right?
There's so many people.
Abraham Lincoln. He's like, I
know who you're talking about, yes.
Informal trial, not the one with like Levi later on. That's the thing with this too, is like it all kind of like cyclically happens, so it's hard to like really describe in season 1 what's going on. But yeah, that middle part went on for way too long because they had like an episode for the trial and then a whole episode describing how Eren was going to put the rock in the hole. That one was the worst episode of this season. I literally was on my phone for half of it.
What happened was we had 3 separate times where Eren had to explain himself and why he was like, 2 times where Eren had to explain himself and 1 time where Armin had to explain for him when he was a Titan. Where it's just like, okay, we get it. This is like the 3rd time where it's like, okay, is he or isn't he? You're just spouting the same points on why he is.
There's a lot of repetition in this first season. And it feels like, I think that's how people probably watched it, was like, oh, okay, we're in like the re-talking point of catching people up. I will tune back in when we get back to like doing things again. This is how I had to start watching it in the middle half.
Yeah.
It goes up from Trost, but this is so like, why was this 9 episodes?
Trost is the worst of the show.
We dropped it for weeks watching this because we started this in like January or something.
We were straight up just like, hey, you want to watch Attack on Titan? And we'd just say, I don't know, Trost.
Yeah, we're still in the Battle of Trost. We watched like an episode or 2 and we're like, we're still fucking in the Battle of Trost. Let's watch like, what was something else we watched? Like, I don't know if we watched anything else, actually. We just kind of stopped and did other things.
Because we felt like we had an obligation to watch this show, but we just couldn't. So we're just like, I don't know, you want to play some Hearthstone and I'll watch you.
Not for this podcast or anything, but just as an obligation to, like, I want to watch all of Attack on Titan and catch up, right? Like, it's a big thing. It's kind of a shame that I haven't seen it. And, you know, I should see what it's all about. And it just... This middle part is so rough, and it gets cut off by a recap episode, too, that we have to skip. That's at the end of the Battle for Trost. In the last third, Eren plugs a hole with a rock as a Titan for 3 episodes. So,
everyone
nothing
cheers,
to say about that.
And then he goes on trial.
Literally 3 episodes of fucking nothing. That is the most offensive part of it.
It is so much talking, and then not talking, but just like sitting around in a cell.
That's it for Battle for Trost. You get it. You guys at home get it. This has been a broken record, much like the Battle of Trost was itself a broken record. For 9 fucking episodes. I'm so upset. This is called Eve of the Counterattack, I believe, was the next part. Is the trial included in that?
Yeah, it starts with the trial, and then Levi kicks him, and he says, "Come on, boy."
He I'm gonna control him.
We meet Sonny and Bean, Hanji. I like Hanji. She's like my favorite character so far.
She's pretty good. She's just like the Titan lover.
She has like characteristics where she's not kind of just like sad or like angry. Yeah. She has like an actual personality.
She's not afraid of the Titans or angry at the Titans. She just kind of like has an interesting relationship in this world of just, I want to study the Titans. We've captured a couple of them. And she gets like really close, and she's my favorite kind of quirky, where she's like just kind of unaware to her own detriment versus just like, you know, there's like the overpowered god, like quirky, if you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, where it's just like they won't be paying attention, but they can walk through an entire backyard full of rakes, and then Sideshow Bob walks in and steps on every single one.
Mm-hmm. Or like a literal god, even, where it's just like you have godlike powers and you're creepy for the sake of being creepy or something. One that I kind of like is Bill Cipher from Gravity Falls. I don't know if you've ever seen that, but just that kind of idea of an all-powerful being that just is quirky and just has no consequences. It's just kind of like, it feels like an author insert kind of thing. Not like, just like for telling jokes, right? That's kind of where I just don't enjoy it.
Yeah.
But Hanji, love her. She's just...
She also isn't just quirky for the sake of it. It's almost like that is kind of required for her job. And she also progresses the plot with information. And she's only like really quirky when it comes to the Titans. Like when they're off screen, she's pretty, you know, got it together. But like as soon as she sees Titans, she like nerds out a bit. Where it's like she can actually... It's like she loses sight because of her passion, but when her passion isn't in sight, she can, you know, actually reasonably progress forward.
I like how bubbly she is, too, off of Titans. Like, she's just... It melds with her personality with Titans, where it's like, she's just kind of a happy person in general, and then when it comes to Titans, like, an extra part of her comes out.
Yeah, it's nice to finally have someone with a positive outlook in this show.
That's another thing. It's just this... It's so one tone for all of this, and just doom and gloom, which... That's fine, but it also kind of weighs on, like, your own emotions when watching the show, I feel like.
Yeah, it gets emotionally heavy, and not in the way the show wants to be. It gets emotionally heavy because it's like, oh, here we go again.
Yeah, it's like, you know, you're in class, you're getting lectured for, like, the 12th time about, like, how this war was bad, and you're just like, or just the internet in general, just people being mad all the time, it just drains you. Other than that, with Eve of the Counterattack, like, Eren learns a little bit about his powers, right? Where it's like with the spoon thing.
Yeah. Kind of learns how to.
kind of, where it's like the directed purpose thing. It comes back later.
It's a weird. I don't know. It's kind of weird because it just doesn't work later. Like we established, he knows how to make it work, but I guess that's kind of the plot. It's hard to talk about without talking about other seasons.
Yeah, I like that though, where it's like it isn't just I figured it out, boom. I like the kind of figuring it out. It's like hints.
Yeah.
I'm reading over the synopsis a little bit because it's been like 3 weeks since we ended this, and then we were like, we should probably record this. Not much for this. Just kind of planning on leaving.
They kind of just like, we don't know what to do, so hey, Aaron, you got something in your basement, right? Let's do that. And it's honestly surprising where it's like, oh, we're already addressing that? Okay.
Sonny and Bean die, the two Titans.
Yeah.
And it's a mystery as to who did that. That one is just a whatever. It's a cool setup. This kind of 3-episode mini arc is its own little setup, but...
long setup. Could have been an episode and a half.
And then, like, Erwin rallies people to, like, basically go out to their deaths, right? That's kind of what he does before they start scouting.
What?
Like, the whole, like, Erwin speech where he's like, all these scouts are going to go out, like, on this expedition outside the walls, and then, like, most of them leave, but some of them stay.
No, I think he says that now, let's see. Oh, yes, this is when they get to choose which regiment they're going to join. So no one has actually officially chosen their regiment yet, because the graduation was cut short by the Colossal Titan, and then a trial happened. But now they're like, okay, do you want to be... The top 10 can choose military police. Everyone else, reserves or scouts. And Erwin is like, we need scouts, come join us. And practically all of them become scouts.
Yeah, but there's like a huge crowd of people. Like I like this scene because it's like there's a couple hundred people or whatever, and they're like, "Please become scouts." And then all the main characters stay, but like so many, background faces just leave.
Yeah, those are the other trainees, the cadets.
Yeah,
they become choose to go reserve or military.
Reserve, yeah. And so it's really cool how they're like, "We can't leave. Like, I want to stand my ground." It's like, why can't I walk back? And
yeah, it's neat.
And then Erwin's like, I love you guys.
Yeah, it's basement time. Let's go.
Let's go get to the basement. And that, I really enjoy that episode. That lasted a little bit. I don't remember any of the episode before that. It feels kind of hazy, a lot of this show does, because it all blends together. It feels like this could have been easily 12 episodes, honestly, versus the 25 we got for the first season. It just feels kind of
the problem with the tone that they want to set is that you have to have long drawn out stretches of silence and people like almost repeating things to being like, oh man, they're not really, like, they're in shock, it's not getting to them. And that just draws time.
It's probably a me with a genre thing then, definitely.
Yeah. Then we have the female Titan arc, which is, I guess this is the expedition. This is like the 57th expedition arc, I guess.
Yep.
I guess the
57th like scouting mission. And then there's like there's a 3-episode arc after that, but it kind of blends into this one a little bit. It's almost like its own 9-episode arc, but it's split by title like as 6 and 3.
Well, we also get to see different locations, which is nice. We're not just stuck in Strass again. Trost, not Strauss.
Trost.
Yeah, so they go out to find... I mean, they spend way too much talking about the logistics of how this works for this arc, where it's like, oh, this is the formation, and this is how logistically, if you shoot this flare, that means this. If you shoot this flare, this means that. And it's like, okay, we get it. And then, but they, like, re-explain it, like, 5 times. It was like, they'll explain what the green flare...
hurt.
Like, at the beginning, he'll explain the green flare means there's a normal Titan. And then someone will shoot the green flare, and Armin will look at it and be like, oh, green flare. That means that there's a normal Titan. And it's like, it felt like I was watching Sesame Street with how much they were repeating shit to me.
Elmo says, look at the red flare. The red flare means death. It's just like, okay, the thing is, I appreciate this as like world building, but The weird thing is that anytime a flare comes up outside of this, like, 10-minute tutorial where they show where everyone's position in the regiment is, which doesn't matter either.
Oh, and we get to see positions a lot. They keep showing that graph.
Feels like I'm playing some sort of RTS strategy game. And it's like, anytime a flare is used outside of this episode where they're explaining it, they just go, oh, a black flare, that means this. So it doesn't even matter. They just tell you as it happens.
Yeah,
so
they could have just cut it all out.
They cut out the 10 minutes of whatever, because it's just they're going to explain it whenever. Again, it's designed for weekly consumption or something. But it's just... my brain melted. Was probably the worst experience of the show, actually. Trost was, like, fine. It was world building. This scouting mission episode where it's like telling you, hey, this is how the military works. We have this intricate system. I'm just like, shut the fuck up, please. I want to see Titans die. This is the only reason I care about this show right now.
It's like you could just like look at a black flare and just have one character just say like, oh, it's an aberrant. And it's like, oh, I get it. That's abnormal. And I'm not a fucking idiot. I can piece that together. Don't insult me,
step further, don't do it with the dialogue. Have someone see an aberrant, such as the female Titan, go, and then shoot a black flare. And then we know the black flare means aberrant. And then we see a character react to it being bad. It's like they told it in the most verbose way possible, and it felt like padding.
Yeah.
Of just like, some people are really into this style of world building, but it just drives me insane.
It just feels like an insult to my intelligence when they just have to keep and draw everything out and everything has to be written out.
It feels like school where they're like teaching me how to do linear graphing for like the 12th time.
Well, and it's because just like school, they're afraid of you not understanding something, and they're so terrified of you not understanding something that they tread it again and again.
Again, just to clarify, action good, this bad.
Yes.
I like this show's action.
I liked when the female Titan just fucked everyone up, especially when she grabbed the one guy trying to attach him and just swung him like a that's not how you swing a yo-yo.
A flail?
Swung him like a flail.
I like when the horse went like into the sky. There's like this one shot where you can see this like speck in the sky of this horse falling down, and it's so funny. Because I think she like punts a horse or something, right?
Yeah.
This, like, once they get the aberrant going, tension is good in this scene. We get, who could this be? Like, we've kind of put the dots together that, yeah, aberrants, not told, but just, they're probably humans as Titans.
Yeah. This also kind of drags out a bit because it's just so much chasing of her, like, looking for Eren and then finds Eren, and then the entire time people are trying to kill her and she just covers her neck the entire time, and they just try the same thing over and over and over again, and there's no variation of strategy on either side.
I could have sworn that, like, shots were repeating, honestly.
Yeah, it's just, oh, she's covering her neck. What do we do? Oh, we're dead. Oh, hey, I'm coming at... Well, I guess you could argue that they didn't see how the other people failed. But it's like, that's just bad storytelling. We get it. You've made your point. She
covers her hands on her neck and turns them into ice crystal so she can't cut it. Oh, no. That happened a third time. I wonder how this will play out. The good thing, though, forest scenes... best looking stuff in the show where she's like running through the forest after Eren's like horse group looks incredible. Like, I don't like digital animation as much as like cell animation personally, like 90s 80s shows where like it's drawn out by hand on paper. This sold me on digital animation. This is almost like movie quality, like detail and like stuff that you could not do by hand very well. It's crazy.
It's good.
Is good.
Then what? At one point they tie her down, and then she turns back into human form.
Oh yeah, the Titans eat her.
Ah, yes.
But we also have this all interspliced with like half like the scouting mission dealing with a lot of regular Titans or something and standing in trees that I don't remember super well.
Just the useless footage.
It's just like B-roll footage of like Titans might learn how to climb trees.
They kind of did, but we're leaving anyways, so it didn't matter.
If it comes back later, you know, fine. That's cool that they establish it, I guess. But yeah, this also didn't need to be 6 episodes. This could have been 3 easily.
Yeah, we
Even
also
2.
learned that the female Titan can scream and call for other Titans to come to her, but can't really control them, so they just ate her.
Well, I thought that was the point, was that they ate her so she could escape. But
yeah, I mean that's just an ability she has. She can scream and call Titans to eat her, or to her area at the very least. I guess she could outrun them, maybe.
And then they did, after that, imply once she was in human form, it's like, she has to be among us, and then she killed someone. And then it was like, oh shit, they're in danger. Because she's... she,
I had to.
No, please.
It's required.
Yeah, they just, she kills someone, I think it's Gunther or something, when they're talking about, like, pissing their pants.
Who it is.
Yeah. Unless it's Petra, she's the best. I love her.
She does kill Petra. Somewhere along the way.
So, like, that carnage is really cool. The moment that Eren gets of, like, I'm not going to turn into a Titan, I like it. He's, like, resisting. He's been told not to. He doesn't want to give into his anger of killing Titans.
Good character development.
And then he's forced to. So, he doesn't, not that he doesn't learn from it in a bad way, but, like, he literally is forced to go against what he's learning. And he learns, like, by not turning into a Titan, he got all these people killed, which he could have saved.
Yes.
And then he still fails anyways, so he learns, like...
He also learns, oof,
I still
ouchie.
suck.
And what, he gets eaten? And, like...
Oh, yeah, the female Titan,
digested.
like, eats him. It just is like, stay in my mouth sack while I, like, take you somewhere. And then we never know where that is, but... It's like, oh, there's something going on. Like, what does Annie want with... Oh, sorry. I guess we'll call her Annie now. What does Annie want with Eren? She's the female Titan. And then, we don't know that yet, but whatever. It's easy to say than the female Titan.
Yeah, I mean, we already spoiled it, like, at the beginning.
I guess we kind of did. Yeah, I don't have much to say about that. Because then we just kind of get out, and then we try to get dead bodies, but then it kills more people or something.
Yeah, there's just, like, some random soldiers that don't matter. And the show tries to tell, like, some moral story, I guess.
And they dump bodies, and it's cool and thematic in, like, you know, you can't always respect bodies in war or whatever. Like, these kind of casualties, it's like you can't... the harsh, like, reality of the battlefield. I always like those scenes.
It feels like a random side story, though, and not, like... from anyone who mattered.
I do enjoy it. I wish there were, like, more important characters involved. Versus, like,
because
I mean,
like,
Levi's involved, but
some bumfucks learned a lesson.
And 2 of them died anyways.
Yeah.
Of the 3 that learned the lesson.
Yeah,
because 2 of them learned it the very hard way.
2 characters we've never seen before died chasing a character we'd never seen before who died.
And then one of them dies and gets eaten, and then they have to dump a bunch of bodies, which I like that scene. And I also like when they're, like, you know, piling up bodies after the battle for Trost and stuff. And, like, you know, people expecting phone calls from, like, their sons and daughters after they die, but, like, they'll never come home from war. That stuff is really good. It's kind of generic right now, but it's really good, like, world
building. It feels
building.
Wasted on some random characters. It's a good time to teach a lesson, but we taught the lesson to characters that don't matter.
Yeah, I like it as, like, world building lessons. Like, I don't care about who learns it. I liked it from the perspective of, you know, kind of world building. I don't know how to phrase it, but, you know, this world is cruel, I guess. But in, like, an emotionally cruel way. The show has
also been just, like, drilling that into our head, but it was a good moment.
Yeah, and then they make it back, but they know there's a traitor amongst them.
Yes.
Which leads into The Stohess arc, which I just kind of also called the Annie betrayal arc.
Part 2.
Yeah. There's like
they what? They try to get her. They're just like, oh, Annie, we're trying to escape for some reason.
Oh, well, no, as Aaron's being put on trial, like, to be killed,
Oh,
put in the
yes.
state's possession. And so Annie, he gets pulled off because I like this first episode where we cut to, like, the statesman perspective
Military
of just,
police.
like, military police and just the corruptness there, because just,
That's some neat world building because it's like characters that.
how can, like, the military possibly be corrupt in this society? Like, the rich being kind of corrupt in saving resources for themselves, I get a little bit, but to the extent of, like, how deep the corruption runs is interesting for this world. When it's like the priority should be on survival.
It's basically the entire infrastructure of the innermost walls is corrupt. Mm-hmm. Because they're just so, I don't want to say lazy. Well, I mean, they are lazy, but it's, they've lived so good for so long because they are in the safest area.
Yeah, the class system literally is like, the inner rings of, like, the city versus the outer rings. We also get some, like, religious building in here about, like, the 3 walls, like, being ordained by God. That'll probably come in later. It's just kind of whatever right now. But
maybe
it's cool. Like, the world feels very fleshed out. I just feel like the time that we spent with this first season was kind of wasted on a lot of it.
Yeah.
Not on the church stuff, but, like, how can we incorporate the church stuff interestingly? About the corruption stuff, where it's kind of popping in at the very end, when it's like, we could have put this at the beginning, too, to make, like, the earlier stuff more interesting.
Yeah. I kind of wish I cared about the characters more, and then they fleshed out the world, where it's, look at the world that these characters you care about inhabit, instead of, hey, here's this really interesting world. Let's zoom in on some characters now.
It kind of feels like wasted real estate, in the sense that, like, a lot of stuff is very bloated, where, you can do world building very quickly, visually, or, like, without direct dialogue, which is the longest form of, like, telling an audience how stuff works, right? We just get so much direct dialogue versus, like, little pieces that you can throw in.
Yeah.
And we get it here at the end, too, so it's like they know how to do it. It's just frustrating.
I think it's best done in everyday interactions. Show what a normal day is like in the world instead of people, like, explaining, hey, I can't believe that in this day and age, this thing is happening. It's like, no, just show it happening and we can infer.
Or even saying, hey, watch out, the church is creepy. Just make the church creepy. There's a lot of, like, that over-explaining stuff. And, like, but they, like, can do it well, like, the non-verbal stuff really well. They just also have to add a verbal component to it on top of it. And it's, ugh.
Yeah.
But Gene is the decoy for Aaron in a whole setup that we learn Armin has orchestrated because he figures out Annie is the female Titan. So he, like, gets her help to escort him, but also they're all, in on it to rat out Annie as the female Titan.
Yeah, and they try to get her to go underground because then being transformed underground is super awkward for her, and she's just like, I don't wanna.
Why do you want us to go underground, like, so much? And then, it comes out. There's this one shot I like with the people on the roofs. Do you remember that one? Like, because I didn't really know what was going on the first time. This was one of the few things that I did not know was going to happen. Because I figured that it was going to be like Annie talked to someone and then, about being a Titan, and then it kind of comes out. We just think that, like, they don't know. And then suddenly we see all these people, like, on the roof, looming over her. It's like, oh shit, they know.
Yeah. It was good. It was a good moment.
We kind of, I feel like we see the best of Attack on Titan at the very end. Like, we're starting to get into it.
Yes, it's definitely warming up. Season 2 also picks up. I think it picks up a lot from what I'm remembering. We get to know a few more characters pretty intimately. It's really nice.
Yeah. But I do like what they do with Annie here. She starts showing like emotion, and she breaks her like cold demeanor. But also, she has a trick up her sleeve where she has a ring when she's like being handcuffed or something that can cut her hand, and she turns into a Titan, and we get this big, epic like final fight between Eren and Annie as Titans.
Yeah.
You getting tired?
No, I just don't have a whole lot more to say about this, really. They tussle. They do a good tussle.
Yeah, they just fight. It's really cool. Good action scene. This is the epitome of Mikasa just yelling Eren, though, a lot.
Yes.
Like, I love you, Eren. But not like that. Just like, Eren, please. Eren.
Eren.
There are literally lines where she just goes, Eren, and then it cuts back. And it's just like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
She gets a good moment of chopping off Annie's fingers or whatever. Very cool.
She does the spin. Yeah. I like the spin.
Spin good. Action's good. Really good finale. And then Annie doesn't die or is like arrested, and she's just crystallized. She crystallizes herself.
And they can't break in.
I love that because it's like
they just throw her in a vault.
I thought, because I heard that she was going to crystallize, but before I knew that, was like, I figured one or the other, she would either die and we don't learn anything, like, you know, we figure out outside of her something, or they keep her alive, she can't turn into a Titan, she's interrogated. But we got like this middle ground of like, she just goes into cryostasis, where it's like, we learn literally nothing.
Yeah, she goes for a little nap.
Yeah, she gets selfish, crystallizes herself for her own safety, and
more like shellfish.
I really like that. It leaves the door really open. That's what I like about it, for season 2 and all that.
Yeah, it's a good ending. And then we also get the cut of some random dude with binoculars staring at them. Who could that be?
I don't even remember that.
Yeah, he just looks like some... Oh, God. He looks like just some guy living in the woods. Let me see if I can find...
Oh, we do get, like, Annie's backstory, too, with, like, her dad or something. I'm gonna have to rewatch that.
We see that he's another Titan, and this one looks a little funky. He looks kind of like a monkey.
Oh, I've heard about the Beast Titan. That's what it's called, but...
Yeah.
Comes in season 2? Okay.
Yeah, that's at the end of season 1. He, like, looks through binoculars.
Gotcha. So we like get a teaser for more Titans on the way.
Yeah, so Annie was not the only one, and someone is watching. Someone is scheming. So
yeah, it feels kind of, because I've heard it turns into a really cool like psychological like exploration kind of story, at least from you, right, Nick? Where it gets like
it turns into
thematically
interesting morals, very interesting themes on war. But that is much later. We get some...
Right now it feels like just generic action, whatever.
We get a lot more. Seasons 2 and 3, season 3 in particular, is about government corruption.
Like this season, I don't feel like would have indicated to me at all of what the show supposedly becomes that I have not known about.
Yeah, so season 1 is very just establishment. Season 2 is who is the enemy, where are they, and kind of like this feeling of an unknown force. Season 3 is about the struggle from within, and then season 4, holy fuck. I'm not even going into that.
That can't even be summarized, can it? I've heard it goes crazy.
It goes fucking bonkers, dude. Let's just say season 3 ends, and holy shit, dude.
Yeah, so that's basically why Nick was like, you have to watch this. And I figured it'd be interesting to talk about season by season, kind of like we've done with Arcane and some other stuff.
I think even, I said that you need to watch this, because even if you end up hating the show, it is such an interesting experience, particularly the ending of season 3 and the start of season 4 is such an interesting storytelling just sample just to diagnose and break down and just to look at. It's very ambitious.
I feel like part of why I wanted to do this was so I felt justified in like, oh, I'm going to sink 100 episodes into this to the part that I want to see and care about. But not that I need to content-ize everything, but I thought it'd be interesting. But at the same time, it's like, I don't want to do this for nothing. Yeah. Like, I want to make something out of this because I like creating.
It's fun. I also enjoy talking about things.
Hopefully, season 2 will record a little bit sooner after we see, the end of it. It's just season 1 was such a slog. This kind of took a while to get set up, but if you've listened this far somehow, thank you. Stay tuned for season 2 whenever we do it. You want to plug anything or just?
Yeah, that's it. Our Discord and my channel will both be in the description. We share Discord, so come check it out.
Yeah, we post stuff where they're constantly very interactive. Community's pretty fun. I feel like we have some characters in our Discord.
We have a few characters.
Some interesting people, for sure.
Yeah, come check it out.
Follow my YouTube main channel, my Twitch, etc.
This channel too. This is a good one to follow. We'll be posting more here.
This one's a pretty good one. We're hoping, at least I'm hoping, to ramp up like some kind of podcast style stuff, either solo or like this, where we just kind of put it out. Because I was kind of worried about flooding the main channel with too many of these, because I don't want my main stuff to be like this. But also, this is just such an accessible format, right?
Definitely.
I enjoy doing it with you. So
we just kind of sit and chat.
It's kind of what we do. We just kind of record it. So yeah, thanks for staying.
Fire. Come join us. Not
they said stand in the line of fire. Come join us.
Save that for season 4.
Oh, I was like, are we firing squatting them? But I just misheard.
Season 4.
Yeah. So thanks for listening. Goodbye. Love all of you. Kisses. Might cut that out. That's kind of weird. That's kind of fucking weird. Are you stopped to go? Okay.